Welcome to Under Two Capes News. I am Jared, and today we're doing something a little different. Instead of covering a news topic, I kind of wanted to try doing like top 10 list under a lad's suggestion because normally those do really well on YouTube, so I figured I'd give that a shot. So we are combining top 10 lists with my favorite thing in the whole world, the SnyderVerse. So here are the top 10 best comic book references in the Snyderverse. Number 10, Superman's first flight. As Clark, Henry Cavill stepped out of the Kryptonian scout ship, clad in his iconic red and blue suit for the first time, this is in Man of Steel, Jor-El's encouraging words echoed, Earth's sun is younger and brighter than Krypton's was. Your cells have drunk in its radiation, strengthening your muscles, your skin, your senses. Before he knows it, Clark is soaring over the grassy fields like a rocket, splitting herds of wild animals. These elements are derived from Mark Wade's Superman Birthright. Jor-El says to his wife Laura of their son's future, a Kryptonian cellular structure will positively drink in the radiation of a star that young. Its energy will strengthen his muscles, his senses, his skin. Well, later, Superman flies over herds of zebras, flanked by the sun, and he then rockets into the sky, just like in the film. Wonder Woman deflecting bullets with her bracelets. And this is something, by the way, this is number 9. This is something that I think that's one of the many things the Snyderverse did better, because what they did is they cut out like a short, like second scene. It's just a second. It's really short. But what they did was they put in a scene where like they're shooting, and then Wonder Woman quickly deflects with her bracelets. So I like how they put that in. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, the best superhero movie of all time, when a group of terrorists invaded London's Old Bailey, Wonder Woman takes them out and saves the hostages. When the perpetrator turns his machine gun on the hostages, she ran the breadth of the room, blocking his fire. This bears an uncanny resemblance to a page in Robert Kanigher's, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Wonder Woman 205. At a United Nations event, several bad guys take some diplomats hostage when Diana Prince jumps into action as Wonder Woman. On page 8, between the gunman and the hostages, she makes herself a target to distract the villains, blocking bullets with her bracelets. That's a tongue twister as she dashes across the room. That's dope. Okay, so number 8, Jor-El's speech. We kind of addressed this in the previous one, but before initiating his first flight, Jor-El, Russell Crowe, gave his son a final powerful speech reflecting on Superman's purpose on Earth. You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive toward. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun, Cal. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders. This directly references the final issue of Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman, when a dying Superman has a vision of his birth father telling him, you have given them an ideal to aspire to, embodied their highest ambitions. They will race, they will stumble and fall and crawl and curse, and finally they will join you in the sun, Kal-El. In time, you will no longer be alone. Number 7, you are my son. In the Kent Farms cellar, Jonathan reveals the truth of his son's cosmic origins, uncovering the old spaceship that brought him to Earth. Saddened by the reveal of his alien nature, the boy said to his adoptive father, "Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?" With a hug, his father replies, "You are my son." The warm exchange is taken from what should be one of the Man of Steel's best origins, Jeff Johns' Superman's Secret Origin. Yeah, I saw that. I read that book, and we may cover it on the podcast soon. After learning of his true origin, a young Clark runs into the field of corn outside the Kent farm upset. Chased by his adoptive father, he says, "I don't want to be different. I want to be Clark Kent. I want to be your son." Jonathan hugs him and says, "Clark, you are my son." It should be no surprise that a collected edition of the comic includes a foreword by David Goyer, who wrote Man of Steel, with close collaboration with Snyder. Batman v Superman, which I still maintain is a pretty good movie. In Batman versus Superman, the Man of Steel arrives to confront the Dark Knight, in the pouring rain, seeking his help to help the imperiled Martha Kent. He soon gives up on trying to reason with the brutal vigilante, and what follows is a ruthless back and forth beatdown between the two superheroes. Basically, everything from the character's individual moves to Batman's taunting dialogue is taken straight from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, which was so cool. I read that book after seeing BVS, so it was cool because in my head, I'm hearing Batfleck's voice when the two superheroes finally meet in battle. So even my parents taught me a different lesson speech is adapted almost word for word. Snyder's love for this classic comic is shown best in this iconic fight sequence and taking Doomsday into space. Seeking to avoid a repeat of the catastrophic death toll of Man of Steel, Superman carried the monstrous Doomsday into space to spare Metropolis any further destruction. In a cowardly move, humanity fires a nuclear missile at the two, desperate to kill the large Kryptonian threat while they could. However, the explosion caused Superman to shrivel up into a skeletal husk, which was really cool. Aside from the titular demise, this scene too references Dan Jurgens' Death of Superman. There, Superman attempts to carry Doomsday into space out of Metropolis. Snyder then combines this with The Dark Knight Returns when Superman endures a nuclear blast and shrivels into a skeletal figure, a clever amalgamation of the source material. And then we get to my number 4, my favorite scene of all time in the movie. At the climax of Zack Snyder's Justice League, while Aquaman and Wonder Woman held off Steppenwolf, Cyborg went to connect with the Unity. The villain threw off his attackers and brought his electro axe down the helpless Cyborg. However, in perhaps the most triumphant moment of the film, Superman blocked it with his indestructible shoulder. This moment is almost certainly taken from Chuck Austen's Action Comics 814, in which Superman battles the minions of Darkseid. At one point, Steppenwolf, in his older green outfit, slams Superman in the shoulder with his axe from behind. Totally unharmed, Man of Steel dusts off his shoulder and responds, "Steppenwolf, hello, indestructible." This was the greatest scene in, I think, the DCEU, and it's my favorite superhero scene of all time because as a Superman fan, first off, he's in the black suit. The axe comes down. He goes, "I'm not impressed, bro." And then he proceeds to give Steppenwolf an epic beatdown. And then the other Justice League members are juggling Steppenwolf back and forth. It is so cool. All right. Number 3, Superman's influence on humanity. In Batman versus Superman, talking heads debate the gravity of Superman's influence on humanity. At the same time, the last son of Krypton performed various acts in service of the world. He rescued a child from a burning building, dragged a capsized ship across the Arctic, saved a Suez crew capsule from a rocket explosion, and helped save several people from a flood. So basically showing that he's not really obsessing about what people are, or what the media is saying about him. He's just doing his job. Number 2, death in the family. Suspended in the Batcave and positioned so that Bruce sees it every time he goes to work is the Robin costume. It is torn and scorched, desecrated with a message from the Joker, Jared Leto. "Ha ha ha, joke's on you, Batman." Part of Bruce's motivation is the people he has failed to save, including his treasured sidekick, callously taken from him by his greatest nemesis. The detail is a reference to Jim Starlin's A Death in the Family, in which the Joker murders Batman's second Robin, Jason Todd. Snyder's film pays homage to this legendary event in comics history by using it to fuel Bruce Wayne's turn down the dark path, including by making the deceased Robin into Batman's one and only sidekick, Dick Grayson. Yeah, he said it's Dick Grayson in the movie universe, which works because Dick Grayson was always like Batman, the most of Batman's son. Number 1, I believe you. In Batman versus Superman, Batman fought nearly 24 mercenaries before bursting through the wall of the room where Martha Kent was held hostage, grabbing the thug's machine gun, which is an M60, and that is really hard to one arm. He aims the weapon at the mercenary leader, Anatoly Knyzev. The Russian promises to kill Martha with his flamethrower if he did not drop the weapon, to which Batman responded, "I believe you," and shot Knyzev's gas tank. This sequence is yet another taken straight from The Dark Knight Returns. An infant was held hostage by a mutant thug when Batman burst through the wall to stun a second thug and grab his machine gun. The other threatened to kill the baby. Batman responded by firing the weapon, saving the kid, and remarking, "I believe you." So those are the top 10 best Zack Snyder moments in the SnyderVerse, the comic book references, but I'm gonna call them the best moments in the SnyderVerse ever because those were all my favorite moments. I may have stacked them differently, but they're pretty much there. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this brief list episode. Let me know if you guys would like more of this, and we'll make it its own show. All right, have a good weekend, everyone. Bye bye.